Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about that weekend winter storm. Once again, we have some more updates and some trends with this storm that I wanted to go over with you guys. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends and family if they do live in the impacted regions. Let's get right into things. So, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit more of the Midwest and central regions of the United States. I got a few comments mentioning that, like, I forgot to mention those areas. It's not going to be quite as major of a storm out there, but I am going to kind of expand the view so you guys can see that region as well. So hopefully everybody that is going to be impacted by this storm has a much better view of their area. Now, we're starting out things this morning, Wednesday, January 22nd. And you can see we have some snow showers on the very eastern edge of this storm for portions of Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, down through Oklahoma and Arkansas as well. Some mixed showers going on this morning. You guys can let me know in the comments if you are experiencing that or not. But that looks to be what's going on right about now. Let's move on one frame, and this is going to be towards tomorrow morning, Thursday, January 23rd. And you can see it's really a sloppy, kind of light, showery storm for the Midwest, areas like that. We have a lot of pinks and some very light blues. The heaviest snow is going on for South Carolina and Nebraska at this point by tomorrow morning, but we see a lot of mixed showers there for Chicago, through Wisconsin and portions of Michigan as well. This could really go either way, snow or rain, or maybe even really just mixed. All right, now we're about to move on, and this storm's going to start tracking its way eastward. Also, I'd like to mention that in the snowfall map, you will be able to see the Midwest as well and the central regions. So if you want to, you can stay tuned for that at the end of the video, and you'll be able to see the total snowfall for this whole view here that I'm showing right now. All right, so as you can see, this is by Friday morning, and we have some snow going on for Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri. You see it's still just like kind of showers. We see some rain showers as well in the green, but really not a ton going on outside of that. It's not going to accumulate very fast. It might not even really accumulate that much at all. Maybe for South Dakota and through Iowa and Nebraska the most, I would say, just because of the fact that we have so much warm air in the middle layers. They're creating some rain instead of snow, but it could really go either way. We're still, quite a bit away. It could trend a little bit colder and give you guys more snow than expected, but really I'm expecting this to be kind of sloppy out there. And then as we move towards 2 a.m. on Friday night, heading into Saturday, January 25th, we see the snow beginning for the east, and you can already see it's much deeper in blue color, indicating that it's going to be much heavier precipitation along the coast there. And that's pretty typical. We see this low pressure system is going to transfer out to the mid-Atlantic. We'll see that over the next few frames. But we do see some heavier snow going on for West Virginia, and Pennsylvania there by that point, and some heavier precipitation there in central Virginia, and that's going to move up into Pennsylvania and upstate New York and lead to some heavier snow, I would say. Now we're about to move on to where we're going to start to see that snow for Pennsylvania, New York, New England, and these areas that we're expecting the heaviest snowfall totals are really going to start to see their snow. Also, the low pressure system will be transferred offshore of New Jersey. All right, as you can see, this is by Saturday afternoon, and again, that low pressure system is now located offshore of New Jersey. It does a really quick transfer. The low pressure system over kind of the Great Lakes weakens a lot, and then we see one kind of build up there offshore, and that's going to transfer all its energy over there. We start to see rapid intensification for the East Coast. The biggest thing you're going to notice with the difference, if you've been watching these videos with us over the past few days about this storm, is that it really seems a little bit warmer. We're going to see elevation really start to play more of a factor with this one than originally expected. In our first video that we covered on this storm, I mentioned that it was going to be a very, very close call with temperature, and that I thought it could end up being actually an elevation event where, if you're really high elevation, you get a ton of snow, and if you're in the valleys, it's going to be quite minimal. It's trending in that direction right now, and that was something that I foresaw as being a really big possibility, and sure enough, that's kind of the direction the models are going with this one. So right now we're looking at, again, Saturday afternoon. Let's move on, and we're going to zoom in because now everything is within that northeast view towards Saturday, 8 p.m., I would say, heading towards Sunday, January 26th, but we're still on Saturday the 25th, and we see snow for upstate New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, but you can tell that the valleys there in upstate New York, around Albany there, those river valleys in there, and also the ones in Massachusetts, the more lower elevation areas in through New Hampshire and Maine, are getting rain, and then the higher elevation areas are getting snow. If you're very familiar with the elevations of New England, you would know that that's quite evident on this frame here. Our low pressure system is located right near Long Island, but you can see the warm air really infiltrates into those lower layers and creates rain for some of the lower elevation regions. Now we're about to move on, and things are about to get snowier for the high elevation areas, and it's going to be very clear where we're going to get our heaviest totals. It's going to be very, very interesting to take a look at what this model is going to do with this storm. All right, so we can see the heaviest snow is actually located near the Berkshires and then southern New Hampshire. And this kind of reminds me of that storm we had, when was it? This is starting to remind me of the one in early December where we saw Albany through the Berkshires and then through into southern Vermont, or southern New Hampshire, better yet, get a ton of snow. If you guys remember that storm, I forget what that one was called, or the exact dates of that one, but this is kind of reminding me of a weaker version of that storm as far as track and where the heaviest snow is going to be. Which is interesting because that was a very, very decent snow. I'd say that's probably the biggest storm in the eastern United States of the whole season so far. So it's good, obviously, for snow lovers to have that one as kind of a reference. But this one's definitely trending warmer. You can see areas near Boston are rain, Connecticut, Rhode Island, but then the mountains, or the hilly regions, better yet, in southern New Hampshire, the Berkshires, and then areas just to the west of Albany is where most of the snow is located. And then we're going to get some back-end stuff. That's 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, January 26th. Let's move on towards that morning, 8 a.m. And you can see the snow starts to move into some lower elevation areas west of the low-pressure system. Probably Albany getting some snowfall here. But really, Massachusetts, it's looking much further north, the rain-snow line at this point. And then we see the heaviest snow is located kind of in northern New York there, and then southern New Hampshire through I would say up and down the New Hampshire and Maine border, but southern Maine and New Hampshire there, you can see there's a very deep blue area, and that's probably dealing with some mixing issues that would be quite typical, but really the heaviest of the snow is located just north of wherever the mixing is going on. As we head towards that afternoon, kind of same story, coastal Maine, southern New Hampshire, southern Vermont, and northern Massachusetts getting the most snow. And again, we're getting hit with that back end stuff for Albany, so this doesn't mean the storm is over for you guys. It's just there definitely is the possibility for, in the lower elevation areas, to deal with some mixing in with some rain or sleet at least. As of right now, this could definitely go in the other direction or keep going in this direction with the trends. That's why we haven't made a snowfall forecast at all for this one yet, because it's still moving. It's still moving around on the models, which means they're definitely not coming to any sort of solution with this one quite yet. We're maybe a day or two away from when we're going to be a little more confident in the solution there. We're about to move forward just a bit to see the tail end of this storm, and then we're going to start talking about the modeled snowfall here according to a few different models for different regions, which is going to be exciting to take a look at how much snow you could expect to see with this storm. Alright, so as you can see here, we are going to be dealing with an elongation of that moderate snowfall. Vermont's still getting it, a little bit of New York still getting it, and in through Massachusetts it's light to moderate snow as well. Our low pressure system is located near Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard there. But we do see the heaviest of the snowfall is located over Maine at this point. Maine is getting a pretty good licking at the end of this one. So moderate to heavy snow, I would say, for the coast, and that's going to be by about 8 p.m. on Sunday. And then by the time we move towards 2 a.m. on Monday, Sunday heading into Monday there, on January 27th, we see snow showers lingering, but this is basically the tail end of this storm. It is all said and done. Let's get into that modeled snowfall forecast. First off, your GFS model. It's a little hard to see because, again, I'm zoomed out a little bit. You can see for the Midwest and Central United States, the peak amount of snow you could expect is probably 3 to 4 inches of snow for some of those regions in the bullseye. So again, a more light event with really a lot of rain mixing in. Maybe Chicago getting an inch or a dusting. Same story with all of Michigan, basically. Wisconsin, Iowa, South Dakota, Nebraska, and maybe southern Minnesota has the best chance for accumulating snowfall. And I think it would probably be, again, maximum about 3 or 4 inches. Same story for the Upper Peninsula there. Then for the eastern United States, in our blues, we're looking at a dusting to 3 inches of snow. In the purples, we're looking at 3 to 6 inches of snow. And then in the pinks, 6 to 12. And then you can see for the high elevation areas, we definitely have some greens going on the very peaks of those areas. And I would say that's about 12 to 24 inches of snow. So still expecting big time totals. And the only low elevation area I can see here that is expecting a ton of snowfall is the southern coast of Maine there, and then through New Hampshire, which was evident on that simulated radar. Now here's your Canadian model. You can see it's a lot more out there for the Midwest. I'm not buying this whatsoever as of right now, but it says that 6 to 12 inches of snow is possible for a lot of areas out there. I'm not buying into this as of right now. I'm thinking a lot closer to 3 to maybe 5 inches in the bullseye areas, not widespread whatsoever like this is showing. And then in the eastern United States, it's very, very similar except for upstate New York, and then northern Pennsylvania has a whole lot more snow. We'll have to move forward and see. This is a big difference on the models. Very concerning, obviously, to see that much of a difference. And then the European model definitely is kind of in between. It has a good general area of 3 to 5 inches of snow, pretty widespread, and then actually a 6 to 10 inch area for a lot of different areas here, including just north of Chicago. Again, we're going to have to wait and see as we move forward. There's just a ton of different outlooks here on these models. Very, very confusing stuff. And then Eastern United States, very similar actually to the Canadian model here. It's actually it's a mix of the two, I would say, because we do have a lot on that New Hampshire Maine border and then northern Maine there, but northern Pennsylvania and upstate New York getting a lot here as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends and family, and I'll see you guys in the next video.